Hello, Dawn here again from rural Cyprus. Here's another update on my Hugelkulture beds and a few of the Ruth Stout areas. I grow in many different areas in my garden and with lots of different methods, and I like to make comparisons of the growing. So I plant the same thing in different areas at the same time to make some comparisons. So here's the update on my Hugelkulture beds. So again, this is the first bed with something growing right now, and this is the broccoli with the onions to stop butterflies. As you can see, this is doing quite well. I took a small handful of straw away from the bottom to cover over a root that was showing at the top, and look what I discovered. I was very careful, checking that the snake wasn't still alive in there. As you can see, I identified it straight away, and this is part of it I managed to pull out. By looking very carefully at the skin, I was able to identify what the snake was that had been in there. It was actually a black whip snake, which is completely harmless and very good for catching vermin. It probably loved being in the Hugelkulture bed. So it just always keeps me mindful to be very careful. This is what the snake would have looked like. And here is me with part of the skin I managed to retrieve from the Hugelkulture bed. So take care out there when gardening. And the next bed. This was the onion bed, but I've used most of the onions from this. So I've just got new ones that have come up, and I need to scatter some more seeds because I believe in growing things naturally. So I just sprinkle seeds in and let them develop naturally. The next bed is now potatoes. This is the very first time I've grown potatoes. These potatoes were apparently from the Netherlands, and they were given to us by a friend of ours who we worked with on his land to help him out, and he had been given these from a potato farmer. So it'd be very interesting to see how these come out. All I can tell you about them are, as I was told, they're from the Netherlands, and they actually call them here 100-day potatoes, and you just mark the date you planted them on a calendar, and in 100 days you dig them up. So obviously I'll keep you updated on these. I've grown these in several places around my plot in different types of growing methods, so we can make comparisons to the ones that were planted at the same time. So I'll show you those as well in a minute. I've now started two more little runs here. These are just really more Ruth Stout because they're just leaves on the bottom, a few thin branches, and a mix of straw and hay, whatever I had available. It was actually the top taken off of this one before I planted the potatoes because I felt they didn't need an actual Hugel bed. And by the way, after you've planted potatoes, you're supposed to then plant leeks and cabbage in the same bed after potatoes have grown. So I'll maybe give that a try. I've now come up to the far end because of the direction of the sun. This is by my gate, the old driveway gate that you've seen in my other videos. Don't forget to check the whole series of Hugel Beds so you can see how my things develop. I've started at the very beginning with how to make a Hugel bed, and then I've numbered all the episodes after that, so you can follow the progress. So here, as you can see, I've started building this one up. This is going to be a proper Hugel bed. It's got an old tree trunk underneath, branches, lots of leaves that I'm actually picking up from a nearby dead carob tree, and again straw and hay. So I was just interrupted there by the local inspector who comes and makes sure everything's all right in your area, which is good to know. Had a nice chat with him, very helpful man. So he works for the rural area and also checks all your springs and your water and everything like this. So, as I was saying, we're now at the old driveway gate. So here is a Hugel I started making with old branches and straw and leaves, everything from an old carob nearby. So I think I will probably grow in this eventually. So I say it should take about 3-4 years before you grow in them, but as you may remember from my other videos, I got too excited and a lot of mine, or all of mine, have actually grown only after 2 years. So they won't be the best. So here is another broccoli patch, and again with lots of onions amongst them to stop the butterflies. And beyond that, I hope it's okay because of the sun. These were the tomatoes where I wasn't sure if they would grow. These were much slower and came up after the other area, which is now finished off. But these seem to be doing very well still, even though it's well after the season of tomatoes. I've let these just go wild because I didn't have enough stakes anyway, but for that they seem to still be getting lots of flowers. And it's now the middle of October, and the only thing left here, this was a pepper bed. We've only got 3 in this area. I think it may have been too hot for them in this area, I don't know, or too late maybe, and they came up. So I only have 3. This actually has lots of little peppers on it. And then there's one more, I don't know if you can see it just after. There's one more there. And then, as I say, the only other thing is the last tomato area, which is just about finished off. So it's all right now in October. But now let's go and see some more potatoes. This bed is in my apple orchard area, my mini apples. So this is a Ruth Stout bed I have up here. And this is more potatoes, which I'm quite pleased with them. As I say, it's the first I've ever grown potatoes, and I think anything in straw they seem to like. And what we say here for growing potatoes, for how much watering they need, is never let them have wet feet. So they like water, but not so they're soaked, and you must never let them dry out. So I did start with a watering can on this area, just because I wanted to make sure they had enough water. But I now actually use 2 bucketfuls just in this whole bed. So that's the amount of water I use. At the moment it's been really hot here, a heat wave. So I've actually been doing that every day. So we'll see. Normally my Ruth Stout and Hugel Beds I don't water, but as I say, because these are a new crop, and I was given them, I want to make sure they've got enough water in this heat wave. So let's see some more potatoes that we're putting at the same time. So in my main veggie area, I just grow normal earth methods. I thought I'd give a go. So I've heard you can grow them in containers. This is an old small laundry washing basket that's split a bit round the side. I've just put a plastic shopping bag in and just put them in, and plenty of eggshells. Really break them up. People sometimes say the eggshells don't work to stop slugs and snails, but it's normally because you don't crush them enough. They need to feel really like shards. So these were planted at the same time. These are doing very well. I did have them in a more sunny spot at first, but I wasn't sure if that was right, so I moved them into this shady area. They get a bit of sun first thing in the morning, but they're shaded from the hot midday sun. Now this area was only planted a couple of days later. This was what I found to be the more traditional way people grow potatoes, but as you can see, it's not as successful here. It's very loose soil. It's what you're supposed to use, that soil that's freshly tilled and not really been used too much. It's very loose, good soil. As you can see, the results are not as good here. It needs a bit of weeding. There's some grass coming through where I've watered it. But as most of my videos show, the best form of gardening is hugel, straw or hay. I may actually try some in a tire because that always grows very well for me here. But this whole area, this is all there is in this whole area. So not such a success here. And there's also another area. This patch of earth here was done the same time as the area I've just shown you. And it seemed to be faring a little better, but again not as successful as all the other areas. So these are coming up again. It needs weeding. If you want to weed very carefully between new crops like this and not damage anything coming up, as I say in some of my videos, use a screwdriver. Screwdriver, you can really get down to a root but not disturb any growing. Now these are the last potatoes I've got left to put in. These haven't sprouted at all, and these ones still haven't sprouted. Now I'm told by the potato farmer, yes, you can grow potatoes when they've got that long white bit that you buy from your shopping and they've rooted, but this is how you want them, with the purple colour root, not the white root. So these, he says, are ready to go in. You should knock off some of the roots, particularly if they're at the very top, so the long direction, this is counted as the top, and you want to leave maybe 2 or 3 other roots. Some people do say you can cut the potato in half and divide up the roots, but the potato farmers don't recommend this because it can affect the actual potato. So I'll keep you updated on the potato situation, and look out for more of my Hugelkulture updates, and check out my playlist. If there's something specific you're looking for, there you will find your answers. Put any comments you have or questions in the comments below, and don't forget to check out links in the description under this video for other associated videos. Until next time, Meraki.